We just heard from my colleague Tom Pelissaro about, over and over again, he said that Shad Khan's going to have to sit and determine if you could stick with Urban Meyer, and the cost of doing business with Urban would be very expensive, or no longer doing business with Urban would be very expensive. And then you got to measure how expensive it would be to hire new assistants and blow out the ones that they think that we're talking to Tom, or anyone else. It's not just Tom. I'm telling you, everybody talks. Everybody talks in the NFL. Everybody's already talking about what Shad Khan said to the team or to the coaching staff the minute it happens. Somebody calls an agent, who calls somebody up, who calls another person, who says something. Honestly, it's all over the place. And the fact that you don't hear stuff from any other places means that there's a respect level for the organization and the coach, that they wouldn't think or dream of doing it because they feel that they are respected, or that what is going on there is respectable enough to stick with it.
A la the Patriots.
Well, I mean, there's you could name many other organizations in the NFL, quite frankly. So what fixes that, right? Certainly, as you said, that if they do decide Urban has that CEO mentality that can fix it, knows how to fix it, do you stick with him? And the thing that can change it, that I don't know if it's going to happen, one would think, is winning. That's it. Winning. That's what will fix it. Winning will fix it. The question is, how do they win currently constituted? Very difficult. Although they did it against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, honestly, all of this stuff that was going on, there, it had already happened when they beat the Bills. Right? True. It had already happened, when they went to London and won a football game. Right? That was just a couple weeks after the bye week in question. And that's the whole thing, too. You might be sitting here saying it's not fair to keep bringing up what happened in the preseason and what happened in the talent evaluation season with, the strength and conditioning coach who should never been hired in the first place, and bringing in Tebow and then cutting him, and how that actually, it's the past. The problem is that all layer on top of layer on top of layer lends to when you start losing their chatter, jibber jabber, and also leads to Urban Meyer acting in a certain way that grates on staff members and players, because that's just not the way it works in the NFL. You're going to lose games. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have been incredibly successful, right? Mm-hmm. They went 13-3 last 2 years. They could have 3 losses again, but there are losses in the NFL. There's 3 of them. Brady last year was 7-5 before going on that run. Lost 5 games. You're going to lose games. You can't, in the preseason, say, I'm embarrassed, and if we don't turn it around, I mean, it's not college in that respect, right? So winning will change it, but Urban Meyer's got to look in the mirror and say, the way I react to losses here in the NFL, that needs to change too. And if you're saying that Jaguar can't change its spots, Tom Coughlin changed the way that he was reacting to adversity and talking to players and holding them accountable in a certain way that players were chafing big time. And then they made some sort of leadership council that met with Tom to basically tell him, back off in certain respects. And Coughlin learned how to do it. That was the storyline about the 2-time champion New York Giants, is that Coughlin learned how to do it a different way, or react in a different way, where the professionals in his locker room would react to him in a different way. And then when winning started, it led to ultimate success. Maybe that's a blueprint here, is that the Jaguars can start winning. They've got an incredibly talented quarterback to do it. They do have talented players there to do it. And Urban's just got to, based on all of this reporting, take a chill pill. You've got a long-term contract. You can't react in the way that you're reacting to people. It grates on their nerves. It does not lend itself to a winning and healthy environment. It leads to the talking. The chatter. You have no idea what's going on here. This guy thinks he walks on water. He does not. You need to remove all that. How many times did Tom Pelissero say agents are saying this and that's saying that? The blood is in the water, certainly for him, when he comes in with all of those wins and say, I'm going to be able to do it in the NFL. You know, and he talks about effort, giving effort and things like that. You know, I mean, these guys are all in the NFL for a reason. They've made the effort. They've given the effort. They've gotten to this part. You can't talk to them like they're some sort of college kid that you're saying, right? Like he says he wants a +2 mentality. What that means is if I'm asking you to give me a 10, you got to give me a 12. It's kind of like Spinal Tap. Everybody goes to 11 here in the NFL. Everybody does. Those who don't, they're going to get cut. They're going to get out. They're going to be done. They're going to be finished.
Not for long.
And if you don't realize that everybody's giving as much effort as you could just cut a few players, cut somebody, make an example of somebody that you feel doesn't do that. But, you know, other guys are in fact matching your intensity. It may be your intensity that they're not responding to. So I guess that's my unsolicited 2 cents, having been around these parts, is that it's the mutual collective respect that wins football games in the NFL, where you just assume these guys are coming in. And I know a lot of people sometimes may coast or what have you, and you need to coach hard. But coaching hard doesn't mean being, you know, someone who asks somebody to say, how are you a winner? When the winning will change everything. How do you get to that part? And it's Shad Khan and his son Tony, who are very successful in every endeavor, need to figure out, is it worth it? And if it is, how do you make sure that he can change his intensity and mentality that clearly is not meshing with paid professionals in the NFL? Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.